Well, hey everybody. Today I come to you and we were going to do a really brief stop. We're just right outside of Yuma, Arizona in Winterhaven, California. And we were going to do a brief stop at this structure right here, which for the most part, most people know this as the Araz Stage Station Stop and the ruins of the old stage station. However, being the rock doctor, this can't be without controversy. So as I was going into a little bit more research on the subject, apparently the name of this is somewhat controversial. No one really knows the name, or depending on what you read, the name changes. I have seen everything from the Pilot Knob stage station to the Indian Wells stage station. And then I've also seen the Araz stage station. If you look on Google Maps, this is actually identified as the Araz stage station stop. And so I did a little bit of research as far as that was concerned, and found that this was associated with the Butterfield Overland Mail Company. It was built in 1858 and it was closed down in 1861. However, a little bit further research finds that if you take a look at the Butterfield Overland Mail Company stage routes, there was no Araz stage station on the maps. So what everybody can agree upon is that this was an old stage station. And it's a pretty cool ruin, and we'll walk around. It's not very big, but it's made out of adobe, and there's no signs, there's no descriptions near the area, and it is unfortunately it is falling apart, as you're going to see here in the video. So there's not an awful lot left of the walls that are still standing, and you'll be able to see the adobe that is piled up here, and it's in pretty sorry shape. As the video goes on a little bit more, I will show you one of the pictures that I did find from the 1940s that may actually help clarify the name of the old stage station stop. Now, in doing my research, the Indian Wells stage station was listed as 18 by 30, and that would be pretty close as to what we have here as far as an internal structure. It's about 18 by 30, and it was located about 85 yards from a dry creek bed, which is literally right through this old window. Right behind us is the old dry creek bed. So it very well could be the old Indian Wells stage stop. But like I said, there's no signs out here. There's no identifying marks. There's nothing left on the building. But like I said, I did find something, and I will include it here shortly, that actually may help clarify what the stage station stop was called. Here's the outside portion of the wall that collapsed. And here you can see the structure. It's actually a double-walled adobe building. So you got adobe bricks on one side, they are connected. You got adobe on the inside. So keep in mind, we're right outside of Yuma, Arizona, and it's pretty hot here in the summer. So this adobe would have been a protectorant from the heat in the summer. So it actually would have helped keep that structure cool. Here we have Interstate 8 and Winterhaven in the background back there. And then here is the dry creek bed that would have been located about 85 yards from the station. The station was built in 1858, and it fell into disuse in 1861. So keep in mind, even though I showed you the dry creek bed, 1861 to 2025, things would have changed quite a bit. around the area. Here you see more of the adobe that has collapsed onto the ground. And probably what would have been a window would have been located right about in here, but it's in pretty bad shape. Here you can really see the adobe bricks on the outside. And once again, we're right back to where we started on the inside of the structure. Here is a little bit more detail on how the adobe bricks were stacked and then cemented together with more mud. And there's Rock Doctor daughter and Rock Doctor wife. This is the remains of a wall that has collapsed and has deteriorated over time, but you can still see where the bricks basically fell over, the outlines of the bricks. Now I just paced off the structure, wound up being roughly about 35 feet by 20 feet. Now that was rough measurement and rough pacing. So if it is indeed the Indian Wells Stage Stop, they measured that building at 18 by 30. So it would have been pretty close. So if anybody has any information as to what this structure is outside of Winterhaven, California, just on the other side of Yuma, please leave it in the comments. That would be awesome. There's just not a lot written on this, and if you take a look at Google Maps, there is just not a lot listed underneath the Google Maps section for what's listed as the Araz Stage Station Stop. So anybody with some information as to what this structure is and why it's not being preserved, please leave it in the comments. A few years from now, this adobe structure simply will not be any longer. It is in bad shape and it is collapsing. I want you to pay particular attention to the holes along the roof line. I'm going to show you a picture here taken in the 1940s that may help identify what the name of this stage stop was. So take a look at those. Those are where the old roof beams connected and where the outer logs connected to help create maybe like a little shaded porch. So let's take a look at the photograph, and you be the judge on whether it is the Araz Stage Station or the Pilot Knob Stage Station or the Indian Wells Stage Station. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on our brief stop today at what is identified on Google Maps as the Araz Stage Station Stop. Like I said, that name is controversial. So anybody out there, please let us know if you know any information about this adobe structure just outside of Winterhaven on the other side of Yuma, Arizona. We sure would appreciate some information on it. Like I said, we can't identify 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt what the name of this is, other than the fact that it is a very old adobe structure that probably was an old stage station stop. So it was either the Araz Stage Station or it was the Pilot Knob stage station, or it was the Indian Wells stage station, or it could have been something else that we're simply not aware of. So please let us know in the comments if you have any information about this. Now, I did include the one picture I have taken in the 1940s that would actually help identify what this was called. But if anybody has any other information, please leave it in the comments. We would love to know more about this place. So what do you think about this adobe building?
It's cool, but it's falling apart.
It is in bad shape. So state of California, please get some signage up out here and protect this place, because in a few years this is going to be nothing but a mound of mud. So state of California, help protect these sites. It's important. So any closing arguments or any closing thoughts, Rock Doctor Daughter?
No arguments.
No arguments. So she's just here for the ride. Yep. So with that, please make sure you leave a comment. Please subscribe. We're trying to grow the channel. We love to have people subscribe to our channels. It just keeps us going. In fact, actually, we sit at home and every time we get a subscription, the room just lights up. So please subscribe to our channel. It would be awesome. We're trying to get to that infamous 1,000 subscribers. So please join our adventure. So with that, as always, don't take a trip.
Let the trip take you.
We'll be seeing you on down the road.
Tall buildings, as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun. As she puts her hand in mine, we wanna chase the night.